One day we were going to go over to one of the Gaudiya Math. There were several different Gaudiya Math ashram places in Calcutta, several maths, and we were going to one of them. And I knew that this particular math had a bookstore where they would have all kinds of the old Gaudiya Math publications, some of which are now quite rare, right? So Prabhupada and I were standing in the doorway of the Albert Road Temple, and I remember asking him, I said, Srila Prabhupada, I know that, I take it that your books are all we really need, but at the same time, I know that they're going to have several books here. For example, you told Bali Mardan once that if he read Brahma Sanghita, he'd become a very good preacher. I was wondering if it would be all right if I bought the Brahma Sanghita and any of the other books that they have to study, right? Since we're going to be going to this place. So Prabhupada looked at me, and he answered, and basically there were three parts to the answer. I'll see if I can remember almost exactly what he said. I'll try to be as close as I can on it. Of course, it was a long time ago, but I remember this very clearly. He said, for one thing, he said, I do not think that you will be able to understand these books very well. He said, my Guru Maharaj was not very pleased with the sincerity of most of his disciples. And he wrote his books in a very difficult language so that even almost none of his disciples could understand them. Then he said, and I think this is a direct quote, he said, actually, my Guru Maharaj wrote those books for me. Only I could understand them. Another thing he said at the same time was that he said anything published by the Gaudiya Math after 1932 we shouldn't read, because by that time political things were entering into the edited literatures that were being printed. And he said, don't read anything printed by Gaudiya Math after 1932. And I said, didn't your Guru Maharaj pass in 1936? He said, yes, but in the last 4 years he was infirm. And he was not directly supervising the printing anymore. Right? I mentioned that one time to some other devotees. Some of them had became connected with the Chaitanya Saraswat Math in the San Jose Center, and they denied that he could have said that. They said he couldn't have said that, because Bhaktisiddhanta lived until 1936. Right? It was about reading some other publications that I said, well, I'm not so confident about them if they were printed after 1932. It was a version of Jaiva Dharma, which of course by Bhaktivinoda, there's no problem with it, but there may have been some problem in the text. One way or the other way, that's what he said to me that day. And the final thing he said was, and besides that, he said, an intelligent disciple takes what his spiritual master provides for him as being sufficient for him.